I've been basking in it for the last 30 minutes. My God. I feel like a seafront village after the Vikings have left.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
The title of an article, Acolyte Showrunner's Pitch for the Star Wars show was so great, Lucasfilm President Kennedy cried. Okay, Harvey's former personal assistant came up with such a great pitch that Kathleen Kennedy cried. This is the same woman demanding they change the basis of the Force as George created it to accommodate her fucking activist bullshit. Okay. We have now entered delusion zone. Okay. You saw what Kennedy said. She did not mention the Acolyte herself in the Dodger Blue video. She did not mention the Rey movie. Okay. We'll talk about the incredible shrinking Kathy in a minute. Let's talk about the Acolyte. So, it's the fan sites, Dork Side of the Force, with some, again, weird-looking girl with toxic colored hair, gushingly putting her spin on this article. Rain Roberts showing up. Now, Sparrow last year had Rain Roberts on the She Is Going to Leave list when Kennedy's gone. And the reason why is because she doesn't get along with John or Dave. But when you think about it, they're white men. She's obviously probably a member of Black Lives Matter and Antifa and all the rest of that shit. Okay, so, look, she comes out and says they need to get back into the writer's room to see where they're at for a second season. Oh, wait a minute. Bitch, you're not getting a second season. Okay? And when I say delusional, you've got 78% dislikes on the Acolyte's main trailer. Comments have not been turned off. And they're, I would say, good 80% negative. And if she thinks the show is getting a second season or will stay on Disney Plus, she's wrong. Then you got Simon Emanuel. He produced, was part of the production team on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And I think he's been on the production team for a few other things. He's also on the production team for The Acolyte. And you kind of look at him and go, you're not getting a second season. He basically, this is what he said, I'll paraphrase. We wanted the show to end with no threads, with no loose threads. So there's a catharsis at the end. And basically, he said, you never know if we get a second season or not. So the leftist SJW Antifa bigot who wrote this article for SFX, and the feminazi who came up and did the backup article on Dork Side of the Force, they took it and ran with it like they were thinking about giving it a second season. All right, this is in direct contrast to The Acolyte's already been canceled. Okay, they're not getting a second season. It is one and done. Okay, look at the reaction of the fans. Just look at the way people are reacting. And then we got Kennedy, not saying a word about it. If it's brought up in her presence, she'll say yeah, and that's about it. Okay, no Rey movie mentioned. Basically, it looks to me that Favreau basically told, and probably Iger, basically told Clown 1, Roberts, Clown 2, Emmanuel, you're going to go out there and you're going to fall on your fucking swords. Okay? You're going to own this fucking failure. Okay, Kathy knows it's going to flop. Like everything else she's ever touched on her own. It's going to flop like a tuna on the deck of a Japanese tuna trawler. Okay? It's going to flop like of a salmon being flipped up on the beach by a Kodiak bear. Okay? It is, look, there's no reason for anybody to lie about this. So when I look at Dork Side of the Force, Star Wars Explained, etc., and they're doing everything they can to prop it up, what they're, in Ray Roberts and Simon Emmanuel, what these idiots are doing is they're over-promising. And they're deluded enough to think that if they just keep pushing, they'll get what they want. Okay. What is it? What happens when this stuff is gone? Okay. All right. What happens when people realize they're not getting a second season of The Acolyte? When there is no Rey movie? Okay, let's talk further.
In keeping with the trusty adage, starve a cold, disgust a fever.
Dad, when are you going to stop blighting the environment with this atrocity? My God, can't you see that it wants to die? Let it go.
Stop. Not one more crooked word. Your tongue could open a wine bottle.
Never had an agent. It's not like she worships the devil.
Well, she doesn't have to. He worships her.
That one just drew a pentagram on the floor and chanted, "I summon thee," 3 times.
Get out.
So basically, Numbnuts here told everybody on the planet that when she pitched The Acolyte to Kennedy, she cried. Like that's going to change Disney's mind. Like that's going to change people's minds after years of abuse by people who worked at Lucasfilm. Okay, Kathleen Kennedy, now, let's talk about her. She's gone from being the arrogant bully bitch that she was at Star Wars Celebration last year to what seems to be a very shrunken, humbled woman at Dodger Stadium. If you watch the video and then compare it to her other interviews and stage appearances, this is not the same person. Okay, so when you've got people saying, she's not going anywhere, she's not going anywhere, Tom Connors, etc., it's like, look, dude, you don't know anything about the business. Don't give a fuck how many contacts you say you have. You don't know how to read people. I do, all right? It's one of the things you learn up on Capitol Hills. You learn how to read the opposition. This woman is defeated. And if you watch the Dodger Blue video and just look at her body language, she is fucking defeated, okay? And Bob Iger and Jon Favreau did it, all right? You can't look at that video and tell me that that's the same woman who defiantly flipped Bob Iger, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni off a year ago and marched a hapless Daisy Ridley who, I don't care if you like her or not, she's as dumb as a bag of hammers. You know, manipulated her to go out there pretending there's a movie with a makeshift writer and a makeshift angry feminist activist writer, and then you march out the acolyte, okay? You take all the wind out of the sails, knowing that a vast majority of the fans wouldn't like it, okay? Walking out there on the stage to absolute silence, okay? And not understanding that pissing the people who pay for movie tickets, for merchandise, pissing them off is not a good idea. Okay, Kennedy did that. And look at where she is now. She gets verbally bitch slapped by Steven Spielberg and canceled, even if she is tentatively one of the producers on Twisters. Weird, okay? She has disappeared, except for Dodger Blue, from any public appearances, okay? She didn't make any statements at the Writers Guild Awards or anything, okay? This is a woman on the way out. And here is the dislike ratio to likes for the Acolyte trailer, okay? And for the other trailer, it's 68% or 69%. Okay, the look. The delusion for Rain Roberts and Simon Emanuel comes from the fact they cannot accept the fact that this show, even before it gets released, is going to be bombed into existence, out of existence. It's going to get obliterated, okay? Just like Willow, just like Andor, okay? It is a show no one wanted, okay? And it's a show that could have been good had someone who actually loved Star Wars for Star Wars been the showrunner. But when you've got Leslie Headland, who does everything she can to badmouth George Lucas as the showrunner, this is the garbage you're going to get. Okay? Woke, feminist, trans bullshit crap. Okay? With an, and look, this is what I think about Rain Roberts. She is going to be Carrie Hearted right out of Lucasfilm. And Simon Emanuel will not be working with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. And if he does, they're going to have him by the short hairs, okay? Because they have to, right? But the delusions, and Simon Emanuel wanted to tout up the Dawn of the Jedi movie, and its new name is Jedi Prime. Well, we'll see if they ever get around to it, considering the only people talking about it are nobodies like Roberts and Emanuel and pro-Kennedy fan assholes. Okay? That's it. Kennedy hasn't mentioned it, neither has Bob Iger. All right? It's time for the delusional people to accept that it's over. All right? Just like how humble Kennedy was at Dodger Stadium. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.